Look East has already reported on how a hospital in this region could become the first in the country to be run by a private company. The only NHS bidder to run Hinchingbrooke in Huntingdon pulled out earlier this year.
That left 3 private companies bidding to take on a hospital which is £40 million in debt. Today it was announced that another company has now been dropped, leaving just 2 in the running.
With spiralling debts and a troubled past, Hinchingbrooke now faces another upheaval. This will be the country's first privately managed hospital, and unions fear its privatisation by stealth.
What we're seeing is Hinchingbrooke being used as a testing ground for the breakup of the NHS. That's why we oppose it. We think it's very important. And what we stand for and what we believe in is a publicly funded, publicly owned and publicly run NHS.
But despite opposition, the franchising process is moving forward. This week, one of the companies in the running to manage this hospital was officially removed from the shortlist. Now that Ramsay Health Care is out of the race, there are just 2 companies left bidding to run Hinchingbrooke. The first of those companies is known as Circle Health, and it describes itself as Europe's largest partnership of healthcare professionals. And it also runs a day and outpatient facility in Nottingham. And the final company is known as Serco, which says it already employs 300 doctors and nurses in the UK. And interestingly, if it was successful, it says it would run Hinchingbrooke in partnership with Peterborough and Stamford NHS Trust. But the exact details of why Ramsay Health Care has been excluded are unclear, as the health authority says disclosing any details would jeopardise the bidding process.
We're obviously disappointed that Ramsay are no longer in the competition, and obviously we very much appreciate the considerable commitment they made to the competition thus far. But we have still 2 great players working with us, and inevitably in any sort of competition you will lose people. There is only one winner ultimately.
But with a change of government, some are calling for a review of the whole process.
At the moment there is a massive state of change. Huge changes have been signalled by the government. As you say, the SHA are about to be scrapped, the PCTs are going to be scrapped, yet we're still forging ahead with this process.
But the coalition government has indicated it supports the Hinchingbrooke plans, and without any sudden U-turn, this hospital will be privately run in less than a year's time. Stuart Radcliffe, BBC Look East, Huntingdon.
Now to one of those questions to which we may never know the answer. Are we alone in the universe? Plenty of people claim to have witnessed other life forms firsthand, as we'll be hearing in a moment.
But first, a university in Bedfordshire is trying to put an end to the age-old argument with science, as Maria Veronese found out.
21 miles from Earth, minus 70 below, near vacuum conditions and filled with ultraviolet radiation. Can life exist here on the edge of space?
One of the interesting things about these conditions is they're very similar to the conditions on the surface of Mars. So if we could find that life can survive in the stratosphere, it supports the idea that life could also survive on the Martian surface as well.
In October, scientists from Cranfield University are going to find out. From the Swedish Arctic, they're attaching a specially designed box from a balloon that's almost as tall as the Eiffel Tower. The box will collect air from the stratosphere, and the key to the experiment's success will be making sure it's sterile from start to finish.
We have some power boards in here, we have the pump, which will actually go down here, because basically the pumps will be down here, and the filters where we're going to collect the microbes will be in here, and we'll be drawing air through here.
This isn't the first time Cranfield's high flyers have made headlines. When volcanic ash grounded out planes, they sent up their own to work out when and where it would be safe for commercial flights to resume. If they do find microbes in the stratosphere, it will back up the belief that there's life on Mars and all living organisms on Earth originated from space. If the team here at Cranfield can eventually prove both theories, it would no doubt add weight to the argument that there is intelligent life form in our universe or even within our galaxy. Maria Veronese, BBC Look East, Cranfield University.
Oh, I love stuff like that. The truth is out there somewhere. So from science to something more difficult to prove, unidentified flying objects. Today, thousands of secret documents have been released detailing reports of strange happenings, including the famous incident in Suffolk in the 1980s.
The unusual lights seen in Rendlesham Forest were later thought to be a hoax, but some still believe what they saw is proof there is something out there.
So what really did happen at Rendlesham in December 1980. Did a spacecraft actually touch down? And did it prompt a huge cover-up by the MOD? Almost 30 years on, the debate rages on, and the release today of this fresh batch of papers helps explain why it's provoked such fascination. The documents include a detailed account from American airman Jim Penniston, who was sent out here into the forest after reports that something had crashed. He said what he found was unlike anything he'd seen before. A triangular craft about 3 metres high, 3 metres wide. And then in a dramatic paragraph he told how suddenly it rose up 200 feet above the trees. There was a momentary pause, and then in the blink of an eye it was gone, and all with no sound. Brenda Butler has written books on UFO activity at Rendlesham. She says these latest papers hold few surprises, but claims there are a number of key documents which officials will never make public because there were many unexplained things happening in the area at the time of the landing.
The fishermen were told to stay out of the waters. The prisons around the area were put on alert. There was a Russian submarine in the area. There was a Tupolev Russian aircraft in the area. And I think there was a lot more going on than just a UFO sighting.
Since we've had freedom of information, so the subject of UFOs has become the third most popular topic that people write in to the MOD about. And there was a great pressure to release these files, and the MOD have thankfully responded by saying we've got absolutely nothing to hide.
The latest documents also detail how in Northampton in the 70s there were claims about aliens. In Bedfordshire in 1994, reports of a UFO. In the Wash in 1996, lights in the sky. And in Newmarket a year later, a circular object 20 feet off the ground.
I think there's something out there, yes.
I hope so. That'd be cool if they were.
You know, I sometimes think, well, there must be something there.
No, I really don't believe in them. No, it's all a myth.
So that's reassuring then. It's all a myth, apparently. Kevin Birch, BBC Look East at Rendlesham in Suffolk.
I'd run if I were Kevin. I wouldn't hang around.
Dear.
Any UFOs in the weather, Jim?
No, nothing mysterious
I don't
there
think
at all.
so.
It's all forecast.